Lakini kwa sasa naarifiwa turejee katika wizara ya fedha ambapo waziri wa fedha John Mbadi amechukua usukani rasmi na anazungumza hivi sasa.
And I know you took off time from your busy schedule to be here, and we don't take it for granted. I'm happy also with your elaborate handing over speech, which actually covered quite a lot about the functioning and the work around here. And I'm also equally happy that you have prepared a document for me to read. And I guarantee you, I know you're a professor, you want to be keen to know whether your student reads or not. I want to promise you that I'll read from page 1 to the last.
110.
Yes, to 110. Just to understand your experience in the past 2 years.
Yeah.
I am not under any delusion that the work ahead is easy. Even before coming here, I am very much aware that it is not very easy. But I want to thank you for what you have done. You took over CS National Treasury at a time when things were looking really bad. Still again, we thought things were getting better. But now coming here at a time when there are other new challenges, emerging challenges, one of which is for the first time in the history of this country, we are going to operate without a finance act passed in that financial year. We should have had a Finance Act 2024, which we are all aware was defeated. Now that has come with challenges, but above all, even the Finance Act of 2023 is facing turbulence, and we don't know whether it will land or it will crash. But that we leave for the judiciary to deal with. So ordinarily, we are going back to revenue of 2022, which should have been revenue used for 2022-2023 financial year. So we've gone back almost 2 years back. It's a serious challenge for us, but we'll see how to navigate. But Prof, I want to thank you, and listening to your handover notes, it's clear to me that there are certain processes, some reforms that were already initiated, and I would only guarantee you that we will continue with those programs so that we achieve the objective that the Treasury had set to achieve. It is a going concern. The countries are going concern, national treasuries are going concern, so there will be changes, of course, here and there, but again, we must be alive to the fact that we are not giving birth to a new Kenya. Maybe the mindset, we would try to change a few things so that we resonate and respond to new challenges. There are a few things that I would want to mention, Professor, based on what you have said. I think on payroll, starting with payroll, and that takes me to cost-cutting measures. Clearly, if we cannot integrate our payroll system from the State Departments to IFMIS, which is our parent accounting system, and all the way to KRA, then we don't know what we are doing. So anyone who is standing on the way of that reform, please give way. I just want to put it that way, that person must give way. Please allow Kenya to move forward. Don't be an obstacle. That is not why you are put in that office, to be an obstacle for good things. So payroll reforms must be done. And Prof, I want to give my commitment that we are going to work hard that that is done. Something else to talk about is the issue of procurement and supply chain management. This is an area that we don't have option. We don't have an option now that resources have become scarce. We must prudently and efficiently use public resources by making procurement system efficient and not open or prone to abuse. So this thing we have talked about of end-to-end procurement, please, as a national treasury, we must make sure it works. it succeeds. If there are people who have been benefiting from the chaotic system, you are benefited enough. Now allow Kenyans to get value for money. That's what I would say. That now let Kenyans get value for money. Second last maybe comment I would want to talk about is, and Professor, I recognize that already reforms had started at the Kenya Revenue Authority. Those reforms must continue, because really if we were collecting 22% at one point, and for a long time 18% of our GDP, and now we have gone down to below 15%. If we could increase our revenue collection to GDP by just even about 3%, I am sure that would give us almost 400 billion shillings additional. And so that would sort out a lot of our problems, bridge the budget deficit, and then we get the country moving forward. On issues, technical, last one I would say is that, yes, we have lost the finance bill of 2024. It would be wrong and an abuse and insult to the people of Kenya if you tell them you are reintroducing that finance bill. Then you would not be listening to Kenyans. So we cannot reintroduce the finance bill 2024, despite the progressive provisions in it. But the country must grow. There are provisions in that bill which would have helped the country to grow. One area, and you have mentioned it, Professor, is the issue of tax expenditure, which is leading to tax leakage within it. A lot of tax expenditure claims, I mean the tax refund claims are fictitious, and we know it. We have been around for a while. So now we must look for ways of reducing the tax expenditure. That we can only do by, there are commodities, there are items you may not stop subsidizing, so to speak, because they are basic, they impact directly on cost of living, but you can move them to exemptions so that we do away with this zero rating of commodities, which end up clogging our system. And by the way, VAT refunds, you know better than me, could be contributing about 60% of the 65%. So if it is 60,
about 2.94%.
Yes.
Now it is 5.5 billion.
Which is now the total, to put it in perspective, the total tax refunds, the total tax expenditure is 525 billion. 65% of that, meaning over 300 billion, say 350, is on VAT tax refunds. If we manage that, even if we just manage 250 to 300 billion we take off, that is money you are giving back to the exchequer to be used for development of this country. So Kenyans must accept, we must discuss and agree that yes, we will give some relief on some critical and important items, but let us do tax exemption instead of zero rating, which end up, by the way, benefiting business people and not the consumers, because the benefits are rarely passed to the consumers. I hope we all understand. Maybe we are speaking to Kenyans out there who may not really understand the details of what we are saying. So I am so particular and maybe getting emotional about the tax exemptions. And on that, and the last one is on, you had a very good program of tax amnesty, which has netted additional revenue. I looked at the figures. Is it 43 billion?
Yes.
About 43, 44 billion.
Yes.
We need to extend that tax amnesty and use it as a way of bringing more revenue, but also giving relief to taxpayers. Yes, we are saying so and so, you have this amount of tax to pay to KRA, which is the back tax that you should have paid, but you have not paid. We want you to pay the principal, but we are waiving the interests and the interests charged and penalties on that. So this is something that would not hurt anyone. If, as a matter of fact, it is beneficial to the economy, because the taxpayer feels a bit of relief of not paying the penalties. But at the same time, we are also getting additional revenue, because you are motivating the taxpayers to pay. So these are things that are, in my view, I would just mention those two, but I know our team around here is already working on some of those proposals that were in the Finance Bill 2024, which we can now put together and see how to take them back to Parliament, not as Finance Bill, but as other proposals. Yeah. And so that is what we'll do. But I want to conclude by saying we will do an extensive public participation, because we don't want, again, to be blamed, to be accused of introducing things which are insensitive without considering the plight and concerns of Kenyans. I want to, and that public participation will start even with professionals. Yeah. I am a member of the Institute of Certified Public Accountant. I want to engage with accountants and hear their concerns, their contribution. We want to go to the Association of Economists. We want to hear what economists say. We want to hear what the private sector says, and what